Tasminavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Verse 50, am I correct?
We are in 57.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh yes, Anandamaya. Jnanamaya or Anandamaya?
We start
Anandamaya.
talking about Anandamaya. Yes.
Yeah. Ananda Pratibimba
Ananda Pratibimba
Chumbita Tanuhu
Chumbita Tanuhu
Anuvrittihi
Anuvrittihi
Tamojrimbhita
Tamojrimbhita
Syadhanandamayaha
Syadanandamayaha
Priyadiggunakaha
Priyadiggunakaha
Sveshtarthalabhodayaha
Sveshtarthalabhodayaha
Punyasyanubhave
Punyasyanubhave
Vibhati kritinam
Vibhati kritinam
Anandarupasvayam
Anandarupasvayam
Sarvo nandati yatra sadhu
Sarvo nandati yatra sadhu
Tanubhrinmatraha
Tanubhrinmatraha
Prayatnam vina.
Prayatnam vina.
Did you change this again? Did you
Change what song?
you have to log on again?
This one?
Yeah,
Or, no,
live
we're on
stream.
one. I just started.
You did that again?
When we were yes. So
Which page are we
179.
on? 79, thank you.
So the Anandamaya Kosha means what?
low sigh of air.
The place where one makes a mistake is called Kosha. Koshavat Achadakatvat Koshaha, that which covers. Like a blankie. Not a security blankie, insecurity blankie. Yeah. Because the more it covers, the more I am insecure. Yeah. So therefore, Ananda is this whole supposedly happiness kosha. Happiness means what? The one that is the contact high. That is what we are talking about. Contact happiness. So what is the original happiness and the contact happiness? In fact, there are no two happinesses, okay? There is only one happiness. And what is that happiness? One that is always elusive, which is my own nature. That's all it is. There's only one thing which is happy, and that is me. Oh, I'm happy? Yes. You are happy. Oh. But then, how come I don't know? Well, you tell me. Why should I answer all the questions? You tell me how come you don't know. Well, I don't know. I get confused somehow. That is what it is. So this happiness, which, I think it's because this flower makes me happy. This is a very common thing, Why? Because it looks nice. It has a nice fragrance. And then it doesn't judge me. It doesn't talk back. That's why people like to have dogs. Not even cats, dogs. Because if no one will talk to the person, the dog is the only one, which will wag its tail and come. Loyal. Today I read there was one dog, and the owner got sick, had to go to the hospital. 3 miles from the house. Dog also went. First time it went after visiting hours. And it was caught and it had a collar or something they found, and then other people from the home went and got it. Next time it went during visiting hours. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And the person, after he came back, he said, this is the very steady visitor. 3 times it went to the hospital. So you see, this is the reason. So all the happiness is focused on the dog. Why? Because it interacts, it accepts oneself totally, without complaint. It makes there is an exodus. What happened? Speaking of dogs. See?
One keeps jumping the fence, the little fence, and then they bark at each other. Because one is in, one is out.
So, the whole idea that happiness exists outside of this I is what is called Anandamaya Kosha. Really, that is really what it is. And it's an idea which is not correct. It's an incorrect idea. Because if the dog has the power to make me happy, then the dog should always make me happy, correct? Some days when the person comes in, they won't even look at the dog. Why? The dog will be jumping. It jumps every day, right? It jumps every day. It has missed you after coming back from work or whatever it is. It has missed you. But then the person is in a bad mood and will push the dog away. Get away from me. Same person who is petting the dog one day and saying, you are the all I have. Second day, and we hear stories like this, where dogs are abused, they are abandoned, they are, then they are rescued and taken to the, animal shelter. Animal shelter. And why do these dogs end up in the shelter? You look at all these shelter dogs, unsheltered dogs actually. So why you look at all these shelter dogs, and then that itself is a big, enlightening moment, because all those dogs had a home. They were all the object of love, right? They were all the object of this so-called happiness. And then suddenly what happened? Who knows what happened? This is the mad mind. And the mind stopped becoming happy with this particular object of the same object of happiness, either got sick or got, some problem, or got old, or the person got tired, because the person's mental temperament underwent a transformation. Got sick, bored and tired of this object of happiness. And so from looking at the shelter dogs, you can see very clearly how quickly an object of happiness can become an object of worry, an object of concern, an object of sorrow, an object of grana, hatred. How quickly just can flip like that. So it's not true to say this dog only makes me happy, or this child makes me happy, or this particular music makes me happy. That's why it's called hit music. Because next week it's hit by another number that is now come into the market. Yeah. So all this goes to show an important truth, is that which I think is the object of happiness keeps shifting. The subject, I, am invariable. So that tells me something which is so important. And what is it that it's telling me? It says that this belief, this notion that what I am seeking, this happiness, lies outside of me, is a product of ignorance. What kind of ignorance? Self. That's all it is. Yeah. Because nothing is going to make you happy constantly. And ironically, that is the desire. How long you want to be happy? If you ask somebody, nobody is going to say, please let me be happy at least for 4.5 minutes. Nobody is going to say that. What are they going to say? I want to be happy forever. When do you want to be happy? They don't say tomorrow. When do they say? Now, yesterday. All the time I want to be happy. Forever I want to be happy. Forever means what? Without limits, I want to be happy. Without limits, if I want to be happy, then that which is limitless cannot be outside of me. It has to be myself. It has to include me. How can it be outside of me? I'm not searching that object. Like if I say forever, I want this rose to make me happy. Even as I'm holding and breathing on it, it's getting older and, wilting, correct? So the forever cannot be outside of me. It has to be me. You cannot even say inside. Inside means where am I going to look? It is centered on I. And so this Anandamaya Kosha effectively separates the subject from this understanding and then projects the forever onto things that are not forever. This is the problem. And so the verse basically says that Ananda, this pratibimbita chumbita tanuhu vrittihi tamodrimbita. So this is a mental modification, this kosha is a thought born of tamas, pervaded by this ananda. Ananda means my own nature, this happiness that I seek. It is pervaded by that, but in a modified form, because it is thrown on the outside. It is not recognized as the truth of myself. And then what? It has gradations. Therefore, it becomes it becomes a dualistic experience. See, the happiness that is me cannot have gradations because it is infinite. It is forever. I am forever. And I have no limitations. But the happiness that's associated with the thing outside has gradations. And we have seen that. Ishtavastu darshanam means what? The sight of a desired object. You'll smile a little bit, It is called priya, one gradation, little happy. And then ishtavastu, prapti, gaining that. From up to gain. So to gain that ishtavastu, that desired object, smile a little wider. And then ishtavastu anubhavaha. Anubhava means swaha. It is now taken in. It has become one with me. Some exotic chocolate. Yeah. There are several varieties here today. So, it has become one with me. And then what? Now all the 32 teeth come out. Priya, Moda, Pramoda. Gradations. This is what we studied in the Taittiriya Upanishad as the bird. The Anandamaya bird, left wing is Priya, right wing is Moda. And the Priya is the head, left wing is Moda, right wing is Pramoda. But the tail is what balances the bird and makes the bird stable, correct? Cannot, even if you cut off the tail, it cannot even fly properly. It becomes lopsided, it may even fall. So the tail is what? Brahman. So the Priya is Brahman, correct? Moda is non-separate from Brahman. Pramoda is also non-separate from Brahman, but Brahman is neither Priya nor Moda nor Pramoda. Because I think that this, so one part of the equation is easy to understand. That Priya is Brahman. Whatever I enjoy is that myself alone. But I am not any one of these things. This is what I have to see. And so here, Priyadi Gunakaha. So many gunas it has. Sveshtartha Labha Udhaya. When does it come out? When you see some desirable object. When you experience some desirable object, it comes out. And then what? Punyasya anubhave vibhati kritinam anandarupaha swayam. And each time you experience something happy, it is not an accident. What is it? Punya. Yes. From the last life, the good karma is coming out. Yeah. Punyasya anubhave vibhati kritina. So each time I am happy, good karma is coming out. This is how it is. So punya means, the anandamaya means to enjoy this also, some happiness. Yeah. Good sleep, ananda, is punya. Good sleep is also punya. There was one teacher in Rishikesh, one Swami was there, and he had one student who was always sleeping. Yeah. Whenever he was called, like the Swami would have guests, and he would call the students, please bring some prasad. And they would go, and first he would call, nobody would answer, and then they would go and knock on his room door, and they could. And the Swami would never be mad, would never be angry. And they would say, shall we wake him up? He would say, no. To get good sleep like he does. It's not ordinary good karma. It's special good karma. Let him enjoy. Who am I to come in between him and his good karma? The sadhu would say. Very beautiful. I think the student must have had a problem. Not able to sleep at night or something like that. And maybe the teacher knew that. Very nice, but nothing. He was of no help at all. Whenever they called, he would not be there. Be sleeping. So this is the punya. So in sleep everyone has no complaint, correct? After sleep complaint, why I have to get up? Before sleep complaint, why I am not getting sleep? But in sleep, does anybody have complaints? No. So this is what? Punyasya punya. So anytime I am happy, to be able to enjoy things is also a certain kind of punya. So the ananda is divided into three in the way that we experience it. One is called Vishayananda. Happiness connected with or manifest in things. Vishayas, things. Actually, don't go any further because the root verb of Vishaya, Vishinoti, Badhnati means that which binds is called Vishaya, things. Those that bind. Anyway, that was just a little Sanskrit aside. Then, Punyasya, then we have Vidyananda. What is Vidyananda? Don't say name of one Swami. That may be true, but here it may be, it is Vidyananda means knowledge. Yeah. Happiness derived from knowledge. It could be Aparavidya or Paravidya. It could be knowledge of Brahman or any kind of knowledge. For that also certain aesthetic, a kind of a cultivation is needed. Yeah. Otherwise what happens? In Brahma Vidya class, one is enjoying sleep Ananda. Why? Not the class Ananda, not knowledge Ananda, but sleep Ananda. Why? Because again, certain that punya has to be there. A certain aesthetic, because everybody cannot see. See, this I'll give you one example. In India, where people work really hard, and most of the people just go to movies because they want an escape from their lives, correct? So that's why all these Bollywood movies, they have to have certain masala, certain formula they should have, and a tried and tested formula which will make it a blockbuster hit in India. And what is the tried and tested formula? They should run around trees, the lead couple, and run and dance and sing. They're all musicals. You will not find anything. And the song should be very jolly, upbeat, with number of instruments and everything. And the hero and the heroine, they don't even know how to sing. But they are just, what is that? Lip syncing. Yeah. Sinking or singing? Sinking.
S-Y-N-C.
S-I-N-K? Yeah. Lip syncing. First I thought, how can the lip sync? Then I thought, no, I heard it wrong. It must be lip singing. Lip syncing. Yeah, so they are running around trees. And rich boy falls in love with poor girl, and then the warring families, or there'll be some feud. Of course, nobody will say yes to the marriage. Or, poor boy falls in love with rich girl. That's even more common. So you can churn out hundreds of movies on similar themes. Or twin brothers and twin sisters. Yeah, same actor playing both the parts. One is a rebel and the other one is a police officer. Oh, they love these kinds of things. There was one movie like that. What was the name of that? Yeah, two brothers. One was an outlaw. Yeah, other was an in-law. So anyway, and then the one who was a police officer had to catch his own brother and bring him to. People go crazy about all this. Then once in a while, the Indian intelligentsia starts to want to make some very realistic movie talking about the plight of farmers who are committing suicide because of the drought last year. And then, to talk about the plight of single women, mothers with children. To talk about the plight of so many different things, different people, different groups of people, etc. And where should these films play? They should play only in the metropolis, in some small artsy type theatres. If you take it to the rural areas or even semi-rural areas and show them, the audience comes packed with tomatoes and rotten eggs which they hurl on the screen. Yeah. Right then and there. Yeah. Why? Because they say, this is a movie, this is our life. We want something completely different. We want to just escape. So to talk about all these issues and to derive a certain kind of an aesthetic satisfaction by seeing these kinds of documentary stories needs a certain development of the inner, infrastructure, the mind. I mean, these are the same people who will like to go to art galleries rather than the mall. You see, this is what I'm trying to talk about. Mall is Vishayananda, where you're constantly surrounded by things. But art gallery, you just go there to admire and see the styles without needing to possess. Museum, art gallery, and these kinds of art films, some kind of shows, Broadway or something like that, which not everybody wants to do it. And so this is called Vidyananda, And then, then of course Brahmananda. Brahmananda means what? That which is the backing of these other two. It's not a third one, that which is the only one. So therefore we say, and the last 3 chapters of the Panchadashi are devoted to this. Yeah, 13, 14 and 15. Vishayananda, Vidyananda, Brahmananda. It's all this very beautiful. So, Vidyanande, Brahmananda. So, in Vidyananda is what? Brahmananda alone. In Vishayananda is what? Brahmananda alone. In Brahmananda is what? Brahmananda alone. So, whether one is talking of an aesthetic experience, not eating at McDonald's but going to some very gourmet restaurant. This is what we are talking. Even in Vishayananda there is gradations. Or whether one is talking about some kind of knowledge, pursuing a certain knowledge. That makes me just happy to do it. That's all. That is also what belongs to Brahman alone. Brahman means me, the truth of me. So, regardless of where the happiness comes from, or where it is directed towards, it is coming from me alone. Not understanding this is Anandamaya Kosha. And then it has gradations, and it is, punya, and then what? Without effortlessly, the one who rejoices is that very Ananda itself. And then what? Next one. So when is this Anandamaya manifest? Anandamaya Koshasya
Anandamaya Koshasya
Sushuptau Spurtirutkata.
Sushuptau Spurtirutkata.
Yeah, it feels like there are marbles in the mouth when you say this, but again, Sushuptau.
Sushuptau.
Not Shushuptau. Sushuptau. Sushuptau. Spurtirutkata.
Spurtirutkata.
Swapna Jagarayorishat.
Swapna Jagarayorishat.
Ishta Sandarshanadina.
Ishta Sandarshanadina.
Yeah. So when is this Anandamaya manifest? Straight away he says in sleep. Uninhibited Ananda in sleep. Total non-duality in sleep. Except what? I don't know that I am non-dual. That's all. I'm not there. The ego is in a very causal form. Mind is in a causal form. It goes back to a state of almost demanifestation. Little bit is there because when you wake up you can tell me I slept very well. So that much awareness is there. But it is gone back to a causal form. And here Anandamaya reigns in sleep. And then what? Ishat means little bit in dream. Ishat, a little bit. Swapna, in dream. Once in a while, it's not always nightmare. Once in a while you may have the dream, what? I won the lottery. When? In dream. And so in the dream also there is happiness, correct? Little bit. Why? Because it's not real. Because it always comes to an end. When you're scratching the last number, it comes to an end. You never see the last number. And then Jagarayoho, in the waking state also, Ishat, little bit. Little bit in the waking state. Little bit in the dream state. Mostly in, sleep. Ishta Sandarshanam means when you see something desirable in the waking state, the Ananda comes out. But that Ananda is already there. That's how it comes out. It's already there. It's recognized. That's what it is. And now there is a big discussion on why this Anandamaya is not Atma. And that is what we will see next. 59 or 211 or thereabouts if you are following this online. Naivayamanandamayah Paramatma
Naivayamanandamaya Paramatma
Sopadhikatvat
Sopadhikatvat
Prakritir Vikarat
प्रकृतेर्विकारात्
कार्यत्व हेतोः
कार्यात्महेतोः
सुकृतक्रियायाः
सुकृतक्रियायाः
विकारसङ्घात
विकारसङ्गात
समाहितत्वात्.
समाहितत्वात्.
Yeah. Naiva ayam anandamaya paramatma syat. Means this anandamaya is not paramatma. Why it is not paramatma? Many reasons are given. It is not atma. It is not brahman. Brahman is not separate from anandamaya. Anandamaya is brahman, but brahman is not anandamaya. That is what we have to understand. Sa upadhikatvat means what? It has a it has a upadhi. It has an upadhi, and it means it has a form. Even in thought, it has a form. It has gradations: priya, moda, pramoda. It has a certain form, so that means what? It becomes an object. If it has a form, if I can recognize it outside of me, it's a what? An object. If it's an object generated something, then it is separate from the subject. In fact, the object is getting at, but the subject is separate from the object. Yeah. This is what we have. This is where we have to understand. Mithya is Sat. Sat is, not Mithya. So therefore, Anandamaya Syat, na Syat Paramatma. It is not Paramatma. Why? Sa upadhikatvat. Upadhina saha vartate. Because it remains with upadhi. Then prakritehe vikarat. Prakritehe vikarat means what? It's a modification of Maya. Why? Where is Anandamaya recognized? In the mind. And the mind itself is a modification of what? Of Maya Shakti. Yeah. Mind is Maya, correct? We have seen this in the 8th chapter of the Panchadashis. Yeah. Kutastha and Chidabhasa. Mind is Chidabhasa. So the Chidabhasa is separate from Chit. It's a reflection. It's an extension. It's a formed thing which is an as though reflection. So the mind is a receptacle in which shines the light of Brahman, but itself is not, it's a product. Correct? Yeah. So it's a product. So therefore it is not that which is a product. Means it had a beginning and then it has an end. All this logically comes. So it has a beginning and it has an end. If it has a beginning and end, it cannot be Brahman. It is not uncreated. Okay? Yeah. Then due to being a modification of this Prakriti, we saw that. And Prakritehe vikarat. Yeah. So it's the Sukrita Kriyayaha hetoho. So it is also a product of good karma. Sukrita Kriyayaha means good karma. It's a product of good karma, correct? Because otherwise I told you, without good karma you cannot experience even good sleep. In or out of the class. So therefore what? So the good karma is again, if it is the cause of the Anandamaya, is good karma. Karma itself is finite or infinite? Finite. So if finite gives rise to something, a product, is the product infinite? How can the infinite come from the finite? Right? So this is not a possibility. So therefore what? Since it's a product, it enjoys the status of being a product. So the product is not the, it comes to an end. Yeah, because whenever you are happy, then what? It's a timed happiness, correct? How long are you happy? Till you become unhappy. That is what it is. So if it's a product, or till the punya is exhausted. Yeah. Punya is exhausted. Yeah. So then vikara sanghata samahitatvat. Vikara means modification, various kinds of modification. Sanghata means put together. No, samahita means put together. So it's an assemblage of various modifications. And what are these modifications? So many prakriti and the senses, the mind, good karma, these are the list of modifications, because of which it cannot be called Atma. So all the 5 koshas have been what? Negated. Oh, what are we going to do? Then if everything has gone, so all the 5 koshas has been negated, then what is left? It's like an onion. People say, it's like when you cut the onion, sometimes you have to peel the onion. You peel, and then what? Another peel, then one more peel, then peel. Nothing. And this can be our entry into Buddhism, because that is what they are all about. No, not really, because there is something left when all these are negated. What is left? Why? The negator is left. Oh, thank God we are not being too negative. Yes. Because after negating everything, the negator is left. That with whose sentiency the negation is taking place, that one is left, correct? Yeah, that one is left to tell the story of all the things that the person negated. Can the negator negate itself? No. Because if the negator tried to negate itself, it would end up what? Advertising itself. Through a microphone. So, that is what the next verse says. Panchanamapi koshanam
Panchanamapi koshanam
nishedhe yuktita shrutehe
nishedhe yuktita shrutehe
tannishedhavadhis sakshi
tannishedhavadhis sakshi
bodharupo vishishyate.
Bodharupo vashishyate.
Yeah, so he says Panchanam api koshanam, when upon the negation of all these 3 koshas, nishedhe, upon the negation, yuktitaha shrutehe. So how was the negation done? Through the shruti, the teaching. The Upanishad herself negates everything. And then we use a little help of logic to also help ourselves to understand how this cannot be Brahman, because it's a product, etc. We use our own logic in addition to the statements of the Shruti, because we can see the logical implications of why this cannot be Atma and why these koshas are all just what? Products. And so therefore they are the places where I get trapped into thinking I am this but I am not this. Whether it's the body or the mind or the status of the mind or the framework of the mind, all these things. So therefore, after negating this, with the help of the Shruti, the teaching, and with the help of what? My own logic, our own logic, and then what? Tan nishedhavadhihi, then upon its negation, at the moment of the negation or at the end of the negation, vishishyate, something stands out, something is left over. What is that? Sakshi. Who is Sakshi? The witness. The witness of the one who is negating everything. Bodharupaha Sakshi, the sentient Sakshi, the sentient witness of the body, mind, sense complex. The sentient witness of all the things that I took to be me. That one who negated everything is still very much present. Non-negatively present. This is something very comforting. Oh, okay. So this is the one I have to, whose nature has to be unfolded. This is the one who obtains as the one who can negate everything. The one who can negate everything cannot, negate oneself. So that means that I am here to stay. If I am here to stay, perhaps I am limitless. That is what it means. I am not subject to all these negations. And then here we have, the whole next section that is going to unfold the meaning of the word I. Who is this I? The one that is non-negatable, the one that is, the one that is the witness of all these various, what is this called? The koshas. And so what is its nature? And that is what is going to be the next section, very, very important, from verse 60, 61 onwards. Yeah, and the teacher, looks at the student and then starts talking about the word I. What is the I? Yoyam atma svayam jyotihi.
Yoyamatma svayam jyotihi.
Pancha kosha vilakshanaha.
Pancha kosha vilakshanaha.
Avasthatraya sakshi san.
Avasthatraya sakshi san.
Nirvikaro niranjanaha.
Nirvikaro niranjanaha.
Sadanandassa vigneyaha.
Sadanandassa vigneyaha.
Svatmatvena vipaschita.
Swatmadvena vipaschitaha.
Not vipaschitaha, vipaschita. Vipaschita means by the vipaschit or as the vipaschit. Yeah. By one who is capable, Yeah. So here, yaha ayam. So what is this Atma? What is this I? Yaha ayam Atma. What this Atma is? Swayam Jyotihi. Swayam Jyotihi means what? Self-shining. Self-shining means what? Atma is an isotope, radioactive. That's the only other thing that we know that is self-shining. No, it's not an isotope. It is what? It doesn't need anybody else to tell it that it exists. That is what is self-shining. Swatas siddha. I know I am. When I say, are you here? That's what I'm trying to show you, that it is self-shining. What is the answer? Yes, I'm here. You don't say, I have to check up. I'll get back to you later. If you say, I have to check up, that means you need a checkup. That's what it means. So, yoyam atma swayam jyotihi. And it is what? Pancha kosha vilakshanaha. It is the one who is separate from these 5 koshas. The negator of the 5 koshas, the one who stands apart. And then what? The one who is also not the sleeper, not the waker, not the dreamer, but the witness of all 3. Sleeper is Atma, Atma is not sleeping. Waker is Atma, dreamer is Atma, but Atma is not any one of them because it is limitless, whole. Okay? So then, Nirvikaraha, not subject to any modification. Nirvikar means not subject to any modification at all. Niranjanaha, not afflicted by anything. Not subject to any kind of affliction or association. Unafflicted by any kind, and it's untouched by anything at all. Then what? Sadanandaha savigneyaha, the one whose nature is whole all the time. Swatmatmena, as oneself it should be known. Vipaschita, by the one who has viveka. Vipaschit, visheshena pashyati iti vipaschit. One who is capable of seeing the truth of oneself here is called vipaschit. Elsewhere, the word vipaschit is also used to denote the wise one. But here it means the one who is capable of seeing this truth. Meaning the one endowed with all the qualifications. The student endowed with qualification is called vipaschit. Remember, this is a dialogue between the Guru and the Shishya. The Guru is calling the Shishya Vipaschit. You are capable, you have Viveka, you have Vairagya, you are capable of seeing the truth of yourself. And you should see this, all this that I am saying. How should you look at it? Svatmatvena, as the truth of yourself you have to see it. You shouldn't see it as, oh, this is a nice discussion about some Atma out there. Atma is not in outer space. Atma should be known as you. It's not spinning in an orbit, or it's the one because of which everything spins. Yeah. So don't get into a spin about that. It is you alone. And the poor student is frightened by this time. Not enlightened. Opposite of enlightened, frightened. And the student has a sad story to tell. Let us see what he says. Now the student is talking in verse 62. Mithyatvena nishiddheshu
Mithyardena nishiddeshu
kosheshveteshu panchasu
Kosheshveteshu panchasu
sarvabhavam vina kinchit
Sarvabhavam vina kinchit
na pashyamatra he guru
Na pashyamyatra he guru
vigneyam kimu vastvasti
Vigyeyam kimu vastvasti
swatmanatma vipaschita.
Swatmanatma vipaschita.
Yeah, so he says, you gave me a compliment, called me Vipaschit. Hey Guru, oh Guru, you think very highly of me. You may want to amend your views of my capacities and intelligence after I have asked this question. I was listening very carefully. I did not get distracted. I did not suffer from the 3 things we talked about in the last class, which was what that? Argumentation, what was it? Distraction or dejection. I did not have ADD. I listened very carefully. And then you told me after discussion of each kosha, you said you have to refute it, you have to negate it, you have to refute it, you have to negate it, you have to say this is not me, not me, not me, not me. I was a most obedient Shishya, the most obedient student. I listened to every word you said. I kept on negating, not me, not me, not me. And now nothing is left. Where is this Sakshi that you are talking about? There is nothing left. He says that. He says, Sarva Bhavam, other than seeing the absence of everything. What I see is that there is nothing, I see that. And then that nothing alone is staring at me. And so this nothingness alone is. And then where is that thing that you want me to see, which is emerging from this nothingness? Because nothing is emerging from this nothingness. Na kinchid asti, na kinchid pashyami. I don't see anything here. Oh Guru, you told me negate the Annamaya. I negated the Annamaya. You told me Pranamaya. No, that's not you. I negated the Pranamaya. Then you said Vijnanamaya, not good news. I negated the Vijnanamaya. Then you said, Anandamaya, Manomaya, Anandamaya. Everything duly and dutifully I negated. And then what I'm staring at is nothing. Because you said that when all this is negated, it's like something is covered by something else. Kosha means covering. So here, this flower is covered by pot, correct? That's why it's called flower pot. So, the flower is covered by pot. These are the koshas. So, I removed all this. Then the flower should be seen, correct? If I remove this, nothing is seen. All I see is nothingness. Hey Guru, oh Guru, I think this is a little distressing, and I appreciate your confidence, in me, that you have to see this as yourself and you are a Vipaschit and you have to see it like a Vipaschit. But what is it that I should see like a Vipaschit? And what is it that action I should take for myself. To be myself, what should I see that I am? Where is this I? I don't see I anywhere. The I should have been uncovered by now, and it should have been waiting me and saying, lo, behold, here I am. It is not saying that. There is in fact nothing. All the koshas were dutifully negated, and there is nothing left. Oh Guru, please help. This is a big fix, right? Why? Because he is looking for something, he or she, outside of himself, outside of herself. But what is the whole point? Is to see the truth of oneself as the sakshi, the witness. And so the teacher is kind of expecting this question and then responds to that. How, when, where, we'll see next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.